People like to believe that the calmest room is the safest room. They assume that if nothing is moving, nothing is wrong. In most environments, calm is not safety, calm is concealment. When the water is still, the real activity is happening underneath where you can't see it and you can't measure it. Law 39 is built on a simple reality. People reveal themselves when the environment becomes unstable. When conditions are predictable, everyone can maintain the mask that keeps them protected. When conditions are uncertain, the mask slips, priorities show, alliances shift, and motives surface. Law 39 says, stir up waters to catch fish. This law is not an invitation to create chaos for entertainment. It's a tactical principle about information. If you want to understand a person's true position, you don't watch what they say when everything is smooth. You watch what they do when they feel pressure, when they feel threatened, or when they believe they are losing control. In real life, direct questions often produce rehearsed answers. People don't lie only to deceive. They lie to preserve options, protect their status, and maintain the image they think you expect. Reality works differently. Information comes out sideways. It comes out through irritation, urgency, maybe overreaction, and sudden generosity. It comes out when someone has to choose quickly, when the room changes temperature, when there's a perceived conflict between what is right and what is useful. The mechanism is emotional economics. People spend energy maintaining composure because composure protects their position. The moment they feel their position is threatened, energy is redirected away from composure and towards defense. Defense is rarely elegant. Defense exposes structure. This is why agitation is revealing, not because agitation forces truth out of someone like a confession, but because agitation disrupts their ability to keep multiple stories aligned at once. When someone is pressured, they default to instinct, and instinct is a cleaner signal than performance. You see, in a negotiation, when the other side is relaxed, their statements are broad and diplomatic. When they feel the deal might slip, their language tightens, their boundaries harden, and their real constraints appear. They stop talking about ideas and start talking about what they can't accept. That shift is the map. You see it in organizations. When the budget is stable, people speak in values. When the budget shrinks, people speak in territory. Suddenly, you learn who believes in collaboration and who believes in control. You learn who protects the work and who protects their title. You learn who was aligned and who was merely comfortable. Stirring the waters does not mean yelling, accusing, or manufacturing drama. That is an amateur move and amateur behavior. The point is to introduce a controlled disturbance that forces motion without exposing your intent. A promise that becomes, I never said that. The person stays cordial, but the behavior changes. If you never tested the water, you won't know whether the change is temporary stress or a stable pattern. Another consequence is self-deception. When you avoid disturbance, you start building plans on unverified assumptions. You tell yourself you have support because you have no evidence of opposition. You tell yourself the room is aligned because no one has challenged you. In reality, you have simply avoided conditions that would force people to take a position. After the midpoint, the practical reality becomes clear when you see it in a real setting. Imagine a team meeting where everyone smiles, nods, and agrees with the direction. The project looks supported on paper, but you sense hesitation in the details. Instead of confronting the room with accusations, you introduce a small control test. You ask for one concrete commitment with a short timeline, something measurable, something that requires ownership. Now, watch what happens. One person suddenly has priorities. Another wants to circle back. Another becomes overly helpful and offers to take it all, which sounds generous until you realize it's a way to control the flow of information. Someone else gets irritated, not at the task, but at the fact that the task requires a visible stance. In that moment, the water is moving. You are not guessing anymore. You are learning who resists responsibility who resists visibility, who resists you, and who actually supports the work. The meeting didn't need to become hostile, it needed to become real. That is what this law is about. You are not stirring to punish people, you are stirring to make the truth operational. Operational truth is the only truth that matters when decisions are being made. Feelings and statements are not operational, but behavior is. Control in Law 39 begins with restraint. If you stir the water because you are impatient, you will lose the plot. If you stir the water because you need reassurance, you will overdo it. The disturbance must be designed, not emotional. It must serve a purpose you can name privately, even if you never name it publicly. The second part of control is positioning. You don't stir the waters from a weak position where any reaction can be used against you. You stir when you can absorb the consequences that might mean gathering allies first, documenting commitments, or ensuring you have options if the response reveals opposition. The third part is interpretation. When the waters move, do not moralize what you see. People will reveal self-interest. They will reveal fear, pride, insecurity, and sometimes competence. Your job is not to judge them. Your job is to understand the structure. Who acts when the timeline tightens? Who disappears when accountability appears? Who escalates when control is threatened? Those patterns are the intelligence. Then you decide how to move. Sometimes the right move is to remove someone from a critical path without creating an enemy. Sometimes the move is to renegotiate terms while you still have leverage. Sometimes the move is to stop sharing plans with people who only appear supportive when nothing is at stake. Law 39 is not a license to disrupt everything around you. A person who stirs constantly becomes predictable, and predictable agitation loses value. People adapt. They learn to perform under pressure, and the signal gets polluted again. The law works when used sparingly because the disturbance feels like circumstance, not strategy. Stirring the waters is a way to prevent surprise. It's a way to learn in small doses instead of learning all at once. When the cost is high, it's a way to surface reality while you still have time to adjust. The calm room is not the honest room. The honest room is the room that has been tested and still holds. Stay sharp, stay grounded.